Holla! What up and what's good, party people? It's your host of the most, Paul Cantu, coming at you from my humble abode. Now, back in the days, the accurate days, I lived here, and I am back once again to share with you guys an exclusive video on one, how to pimp out satin and or baseball jackets. Two, how to sew on patches. So I'm gonna give you guys an in-depth patch sewing on tutorial. And three, I'm gonna do a fit of the day with my customized satin pimped out jacket. Alright, so the first item you guys are gonna need for pimping out a satin jacket, of course, is a satin jacket. Now, I usually acquire them from thrift stores. Occasionally you'll come across a blank one that's hella dope and fits you like this one. But more likely than not, you find a lot of really clean jackets, but they're flawed with this embroidery. Now, have no worries, guys, because the second supply you'll need to cover up embroidered jackets are patches. Now, you can find patches on hats, you can find them loose leaf in thrift stores, or on clothing. Anywhere you can possibly imagine. If you see some embroidery, don't be hesitant about cutting it off and using it for a pimpin' satin jacket. So without further ado, aside from the patches and jacket, I'm going to show you guys the rest of the supplies you're going to need for this tutorial and get straight into the action of pimping out this red satin jacket. Alright, here comes the sexy voiceover. Once again, to reiterate, you're going to need some patches. As you can see, I have a Chewy's patch and a couple yellow floral patches. And then you're also going to need thread, which I get at a thrift store. And I'm using gold and red because it matches the color of the patches. Then you're going to need some pins and needles that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then you're also going to need a nice sewing hoop, which I also got at Hobby Lobby. This one's made of bamboo and it keeps the fabric nice and tight. And then next step is you're going to want to roughly place the patches where you like them to be on the nice breastplate. Then get one half of the sewing hoop, put it on the interior side of the jacket. Then get the outside piece and then snap it right on place. Make sure it's nice and tight and it keeps the fabric nice and strizate. As you can see, that's some straight satin on that thing. Then you want to go ahead and put the patch where you like it to be once again. And then grab a couple of pins right there and then stick them all up in that patch. Now that'll ensure that the patch stays in place when you begin to embroider and sew. Then the next step is to cut 2 feet of thread, or maybe more depending on the size of the patch. And then you're going to want to grab the thread and actually put it through the eye of the needle. And now you want 1 foot of thread on one side of the needle and 1 foot of thread on the other side of the needle. That way the thread will be doubled in thickness and will be easier to sew, more durable, and easier to tie. Now here comes the tying part in slow-mo. So you want to get one end of the thread, wrap it around the other, make a loop, put that end through the loop, as you can see I'm doing right there, grab it, and then pull it tight. As you can see, it's through and I'm pulling it tight, and there is the knot. Then to begin sewing, you want to get the needle and you want to place it on the underside of the jacket. And you actually want to stick the threaded needle through the very edge of the patch. As you can see on the other side, you want to push the needle through the red border on the patch and then pull all the way up and all the way through. So as you can see, it's nice and tight. Then when you're on the outside of the jacket, as I am, you're going to push the needle back through the border, so push it down and then pull it once again all the way through. Now you also want to make sure the needle doesn't get caught or isn't tangled up. And as you can see, I'm just freeing up the thread and just pulling once again all the way through to make my first stitch. Then you want to repeat, so you're on the underside of the jacket again, you want to push up through the red border of the patch in this case, and then pull the needle through on the other side, turn it around, and then push down right through the red border once again. Now this is a simple and effective way of stitching on patches. And once again, I'm going to pull it all the way through, push it back up, turn the needle around, push it down, and go all the way through. And now I'm going super hyper speed just to show you guys the vibe and the rhythm of the practice of sewing. And there are various methods of sewing on patches, but this is the simplest, so this is why I am showing you guys this technique first for all of you guys who may be curious on how to sew on a patch or two. And once again, just go under, push up, go over, push down. One more time, under, push up, over, push down. And you just want to keep repeating that process until you circle the whole patch and have it nice and secured. Bam, look at that. And here comes the last one, pushing it down and pulling it all the way through the interior underside of the jacket. So now it's getting a little bit complicated because this is where you have to actually tie off the thread. Now to tie it off, you want to make a giant loop, as you can see I'm doing in slow-mo. You're going to pull the thread around and once again create a loop. As you can see right there, I have a loop. And then you want to get the needle and go through that loop that you made. So just make a big loop, circle, and then you push the needle on the underside. Press your finger right where all the entanglement is. So on the far left side of the screen, I'm putting my finger down and then just pull the string all the way through. And that'll actually create a knot. As you can see right there, look at that knot. Perfect, son. Once again, I'm pulling up from under and pushing down. So push up and under and then push down and over. So as you can see, going up, needle all the way through, and then pushing all the way down. Now you may not be sewing on 2 patches, but in this case I am, and since the patch is gold, once again I'm using gold thread. So just play around with different patches and how you like to assemble them within and on your satin jacket. In this case I want the jacket to be symmetrical, so I'm going ahead and sewing on the other side. Alright, next up I have another satin jacket. I'm going to pimp this thing out with a kid's Mickey Mouse jersey that I got at a thrift store. So I can't wear the jersey obviously, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off the patches and sew them on this blank thrifted satin jacket and make a custom Mickey Mouse satin jacket, which I honestly am super stoked about. And go ahead and join me on this process, guys, because this thing is going to be sick! So right now I'm just generally cutting out the area with the patch on the jersey, as you can see right there. You want to get some nice sharp scissors to cut out the patches if you find a jersey to utilize. And then after I get a big rough estimate of the area, I want to go ahead and get the scissors and refine my cut right along the outside navy blue border of this patch. And here are all the patches, got sleeve patches, numbers, and a tag. And so the first step is you want to go ahead and line up the patches where you want them once again. And in this case, I'm actually using fabric glue to glue on the patch, which is an alternative technique you can do. And as you can see, I'm just putting the glue all alongside the border of the patch. You want to be liberal with the glue, so use a lot of it. And then once the glue is on, you just want to place the patch in its original position that you predestined for it. And then you're just going to push it down, and actually you're going to grab an iron after you push it down, and you're going to use the iron to flatten out and fully secure the patch with the glue. Now I also tend to sew on these patches after I glue them, but if you don't know how to sew or you're too lazy to learn how to sew, then you go ahead and glue them, but sewing is my preferred technique because it is really durable. Boom. So as you can see, now I'm ironing on the other patch. Look at that. And then I'm going ahead and I'm putting the sleeve patch right there on the upper side of the sleeve. You can also put it near the cuff, but I just decided to put it on the upper region, and I'm going ahead and just ironing it on. And as I previously mentioned, I glued the numbers on, and now I'm going ahead and sewing them on. And right here, right now, you guys, I'm about to show you guys the full fit of these jackets, how I rock them, and how I sock them, sweetheart. Let's go.